Today's episode is brought to you by Share, Inform, Enlighten, which empowers individuals and communities through diverse perspectives, literacy promotion, and essential resources. From thought-provoking discussions to life-changing workshops and scholarships, we inspire growth, creativity, and connection. Join us in making a difference, one story, one skill, one step at a time. To learn more, visit our website at shareinformenlighten.org. Welcome to Conversations with Verdel Jones. We are about turning your passion into purpose, turning your passion into action, living with intention, and making an impact. I'm your host, Verdel Jones, and I'm thrilled that you have joined us. Let's get started. Today we welcome Sensei Darren, and in 2015 he founded Sensei Darren Bullyproof LLC. It was driven by his belief in the importance of a strong role model for children facing challenges. Now he's bringing that powerful message to schools with his Sensei Darren's Bullyproof program. So welcome, Sensei Darren.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Glad to
being
be
here. Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into it. I saw some of your Instagram posts with working with kids, and so I want to hear all about that. So what inspired you first to, to create the Sensei Darren Bullyproof program, and what impact have you seen it having with children?
Okay, so real quick, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, the youngest of three, single mother, and I was, the baddest kid out of the bunch. So it was recommended that my mother put me in martial arts, right, by a friend of hers. So she put me in this martial arts school, and I was bitten with the bug. But the school only stayed there for like 2 years in the community center, and it moved. But from then on, I always had a love for the martial arts. Fast forward, my son is born, right? Now my son is 30 years old. My son is born, and I put him into the martial arts because I wanted to, continue training.
Right.
So he's training, then I'm training. I have cousins that train. Martial arts is a way of life for me. And in the back of my mind, growing up in Brooklyn, I always felt like if I had a strong father figure in my life, things would have been different for me. So I'm training in martial arts. I'm showing up in my son's life. I started, I'm bringing him to tournaments, and it's born. Fast forward even further, I'm going to a church at the time. I was going to this church for maybe 5-6 years straight. And the pastor, God rest his soul, knew I was a martial artist. Him and his father kept telling me about creating a school, some type of school. I don't know why they saw that in me, because a lot of the security that surrounded him were martial artists that I knew, right? So I don't know why they wanted me to do that.
Right.
But he kept saying, I feel like it's your calling, it's your calling.
Wow.
Going even further, I'm working in a corporate environment. I'm an accounting professional. I'm rising through the ranks of the corporate world. And I'm at a job for 13 years. I get laid off because they outsourced. So, but I got a great severance package and all, so then it hits me. I'm praying, meditating. Back then I'm praying and meditating. I still pray a lot now, but back then I added meditation to it. So I was praying and meditating all the time, and it came to me.
Yeah.
Sensei Darren Bullyproof. When I tell people that story, I'm like, it really happened.
Just like that.
It's just like that. So I wanted to create a program where I go into the school system and talk to kids. I wanted to be a figure, a positive role model. So I'm on this severance package. I prayed, it came to me, Sensei Darren Bullyproof, so I'm looking online. It had some, in Jersey, I live in Jersey City, had a school in Jersey City, a college, where I can go talk to someone who's a small business, give you information, whatever.
Right, exactly.
So I went there, I told him what I wanted to do. He thought I wanted a grant to build a grant. I said, no, I want to go into the school system and teach. Right? So he said, well, this is what you should do. He gave me some numbers to call. He said, call these people. Long story short, I called a person that was the director of Department of Rec in Jersey City, a brother, and I called the number about 10 days straight. I don't know why I kept calling that number. The secretary called me back, and they wanted to meet with me. I went down there, I rode my motorcycle, I went, talked to him. It was supposed to be a half an hour meeting. We stayed there for an hour and a half. I told him, just like I'm telling you, I want to go into school. I'm a 6th degree. My name of my company is Sensei Darren. I'm really a Shihan in my system. That's a 6th degree black belt, but I just call myself Sensei Darren.
Okay.
Right, so I'm telling him what I want to do. I want to talk to the kids. I want to show I was ready to father, my whole vision. He's like, this is great. He says, I'll be in touch. I go home. I get a call a couple of days later from the secretary. We want to put you in the after-school program.
Oh, wow.
So they said, do you have your vendor's license? I'm like, what is that? I'm a black, but I know how to teach.
Right.
So long story even shorter, I get all of the paperwork done,
Yes.
send it to them. They put me on a roster, and now I'm in Jersey City teaching at these after-school programs.
Got it.
Now the name gets out. People are like, this guy is wonderful. This guy is wonderful. I'm good with the kids. It's just a natural attraction that the kids have to me. I really like teaching the young boys because that's my vision.
Yes.
But the girls take to it too. So I do a class one day, and I'm telling people, create the curriculum. No one's supposed to touch you. The premise, my tree of my company is Bullyproof.
Right.
But, the tree. But the branches are communication, self-respect.
So within that, the bully-proof thing,
it's all of that.
all
right.
principles
so
in there.
a lot of times we don't even get to do the punching and kicking part because I'm talking.
Yeah.
So I'm telling these girls, there's a group. I'm telling the girls, no one should touch you. Long story short, someone in that class heard that. And someone in her household was touching her. So they told the principal, they told the guidance counselor. So the principal called me and said, I want to thank you for this program. And from there, it just started growing.
Right.
Right. So then I move into teaching at the Mary Bethune Center in Jersey City. I do a boot camp class there. I do self-defense class, and I'm continuing to work. But I go back into corporate. So I'm still working corporate, and I'm doing well. So I'm still teaching classes on the side, but I'm not. My dream is to ultimately
build this. You want to do.
To build this. So I meet a woman that I'm dating now, Elena. I don't really talk to her about the whole martial arts. She knows I train. She knows I work out, but we're not really discussing my dream like that because I'm just meeting her.
Right.
She finds out, and we're talking. Long story short, she's a marketing exec type, right? Okay. She has very great marketing skills. So she's like, why don't you do a women's self-defense at my gym? I said, okay, why not? I'm doing them all the time. I'm still working.
Right.
So I do the self-defense course there, and one of the women there has some connections with a school, and long story short, they want to bring me in to do these classes. That was last year. I start doing the classes, and it's a hit.
Wow.
Right? The principals like it, the kids like it, and again, it's not a kicking and punching type of thing.
Right.
We're talking to them. We have breakdowns with the kids, and once they get comfortable with us, they're really talking to us about how they feel. And it's really something that I always wanted to do. I do it like this. It's like I wanted to be able to go somewhere and talk like that. My mother was great, but she's old school. Just come here and do what I say. You know that type.
There was no talking.
There was no talking. There was no communication. Like I let my son talk, but I could not talk. So it's we let the kids talk and we build a safe space with them. And from here, this year we are in the Hempstead School District.
Okay.
In all the elementary schools, middle school. We did a seminar at the high school. So right now I'm growing the business. And it's doing really well.
So you go to elementary schools and middle schools. Is that your primary? You said you were in a high school as well. And is it different for each grade level?
Oh, it's different for each grade. So for the elementary school, they don't mind me. I bring pads and we have a team. They don't mind me letting them kick and burn off steam. It's fine. For the middle school, not so much.
Yeah.
Because they have enough bullying as it is, and a lot of times a lot of those kids are fighting already. Right. So they don't want that. Gotcha. And nowadays, when the kids fight, they're streaming, they're filming
video,
it, and then they send the videos to each other. So they want more talking. They want more talking.
With the older
and we build a rapport with them, and they start talking. These kids really need someone to talk to. The high school, they don't want any kicking and punches. It's more of a seminar. Bullying. What are the effects of bullying, and how can bullying affect you? Have you been a victim of a bullying? And that kind of conversation.
So what would you tell parents? Because I was an educator for 30 years, and I know that especially now with social media, it's always a problem, and you have a student that might be bullied. What would you advise for parents to support their kids if they're being bullied in school?
Well, besides getting them some self-defense lessons, right? Because sometimes it just comes down to that. If a kid gets hit once, he'll get hit twice. He'll get 3 times. So at some point, he has to be able to defend himself, right? That is a bottom line. But you should be able to talk to your kid. But even doing that, sometimes kids are not comfortable talking to their parents. Sometimes the father, whatever the figure is, they're just not comfortable. So if you know your kid is being bullied, send them somewhere to learn how to defend themselves, right? Not start, but to defend themselves. Because if I defend myself in the cafeteria against Joe Bully, then Steve Bully will leave me alone. But if they see it, now you become what they call food. So now you're that guy or the girl that everyone's kicking and punching.
You're going to be that target.
And then this can result in low self-esteem, drug abuse, yada, yada, suicide, and all that. So a quick palm heel to the face may end that. But if a kid doesn't know, they don't know. So I would say get them self-defense classes, but definitely talk to them. But a lot of times our kids don't talk to us like they talk to a stranger.
Right.
Kids talk to me and they have a mother and father in the household.
Right.
Why they come to me?
Right. And their mother and father probably have told them the same things that you may have told them, but it's just another person that they
that they feel comfortable with. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So how does learning the self-defense, you mentioned they can protect themselves, but how have you seen that kind of manifest itself in the confidence that children get when they're with you?
So I'll bring up, I have many people, right? I have people that contact me all the time. They bring their kids from Passaic, all over. One person in general, I have a friend of mine. She had a sister, right, who lived in Harlem, and her sister had a son from Atlanta. They lived in Atlanta, now they live in Harlem. So the kid was taking the train to go to school in Brooklyn.
Oh, wow.
But he was being bullied. So the mother went to the school for open school night one day, and he was being beat up in the schoolyard. So, long story short, the sister said, call Darren. So I will go to her house to train this kid. So when he came to the door, he's a big kid. I'm like, who's touching this kid?
Right.
But when he talked, he had this high-pitched voice. He was like, hey, I was like, oh, okay. So I know how kids can be.
Yes.
In school, with that high-pitched voice, they were making fun of him.
Target.
And he wasn't rough. In 3 weeks, I kid you not, I have tested 3 weeks. I took this kid from coming to that door with that high pitch. He's always had a high pitch voice, but now he's wearing bandanas. He's wearing cut. This kid totally changed. I gave him a few techniques. He went to school. He was the target again. He used them. His mother called me crying. She could not believe it. She's like, oh. So this was years ago. This kid now has graduated college. He was the head of the wrestling team.
Okay.
The head of the wrestling team, right? Because of the simple stuff he learned.
Right.
And I didn't take long because, she lost her job, she couldn't pay and whatever, and I did a few for free. And she's like, okay, but thank you. And he was well on his way. About 3 weeks worth of some nice, and nothing deadly self-defense, just basic stuff. And the kid went to school, protected himself. He wound up graduating college. He was head of the wrestling team. I haven't talked to her in a while, but the last time I talked to her, she told me that story.
Yeah, he's built, and that builds their self-esteem and confidence if they know that they can protect themselves. Right. And that's always a challenge, I think, when students are being bullied. They don't really know, and the parents don't know how to support them.
Right.
What can schools do to help with the bullying that goes on in schools?
Right. Well, they can bring in Sensei Darren's Bullyproof, of course.
There you go.
We know that already. All right. they can bring us in, and they need to bring in a program like ours that can talk to the kids, and we want to have continuity with it because we want to continue to see the same kids week after week after week, and they get comfortable, right? So when they get comfortable, they'll say certain things. When they say certain things, we go to the guidance counselor and we can intervene. They need to know that no one's supposed to touch you if you tell them no. Right. Now, I always tell kids, if you're playing with Joe and Tom, you're playing, that's different. Because they always say, he's bullying me, they play a lot. I say, you guys are just playing. But if you're telling someone, don't touch me, I mean it. We're not playing any games.
Period.
But you need to know what to do if you're being put in a headlock and you're being punched in the face. Like, what do we do?
How do you get out of it?
And if they do it once, they're going to keep doing it. And there are simple techniques to prevent that. And there's nothing deadly. It's simple. If I said don't touch me, don't touch me. And kids learn it like that.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And then sometimes you see a kid, getting wanting to walk to the halls, to show off. We got to say, calm down.
Right.
Calm down. You weren't that guy before. You're not him now. Just relax. But because the confidence,
it builds.
Yes.
Yeah. But
yes.
you need a lot of the bully and the bullied. It's about self-esteem.
It's about
confidence. It really, really is.
And so I taught my girlfriend a few techniques. So now she's out later. So she's walking to her car. She's like, I said, all right, calm down. Calm down. You learn one technique. Now you with them heels, calm down.
Right.
Just
easy.
Yeah, easy. And get home. Go. Stop. Now she's walking around with the key. All right.
So, Sensei Darren, please tell people how they can get in touch with you and how they can have your program in their school.
Okay, you can reach me on Instagram at Sensei D Bullyproof. That's on Instagram, and from there we have our Facebook page, our website page. You can reach us there and just contact me, DM me, and reach out.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. It's so important to make sure our kids have the confidence and they can protect themselves. So thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Conversations with Verdel Jones, empowering your passion with purpose. I hope today's conversation left you inspired, informed, and ready to take action toward your goals. If this episode sparks something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, pass it, and keep the cycle of learning and growing alive. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share so you will never miss an episode. And remember, in the words of Maya Angelou, when you learn, teach, and when you get, give. We'll see you next time.